Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and today you're gonna learn how to drag click really consistently and with high CPS and really easily, because this video is going to include several tips that you might not know about learning how to drag click. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so drag clicking is a really popular clicking method that started to become popular around a year ago. And around that time, I started learning how to drag click. And since then, I think I have become quite good at it, so I can make this video. But anyway, drag clicking is allowing your finger to skip across the mouse button surface so that it can register a lot of consecutive clicks in a really short amount of time. But you already probably knew that. And I'm not here to tell you how it works, I'm here to tell you how to learn it. But anyways, drag clicking allows you to do a lot of different bridging methods and also do clutches. And now finally, before we learn it, we need to know the requirements to do it. Okay, so the first thing you will need is a mouse. And not just any mouse, but a drag clicking mouse. And before you think anything else, I want to tell you that a lot of people think that their mouse can't double click, but their mouse can actually double click. It's just the case that there's a lot of really bad YouTube tutorials that don't explain double clicking really well. So if you're not 100% sure that your mouse can't double click, don't go buying a new one, and instead check out my double clicking video, which I explain how to test if your mouse can double click really easily. With that out of the way, let's get to the second thing you will need, and that is tape. Now, why do we need tape? Basically, a lot of people in the bridging community use different kind of tapes to give their mouse a different texture, which might make it easier for them to drag click on their mouse. Now, of course, you don't need tape 100% of the time. There are some instances where people can drag click just fine on a regular mouse surface, but it is a generally good idea to have several different tapes that you can place on your mouse to give it a different surface, thus making it possibly easier to drag click on. But anyways, now that we know what you need to drag click, let's get around to actually learning it. And don't skip this part because this is really important. Basically, while drag clicking, you need to move your mouse from the top of the mouse trigger to the bottom. But it's not straightforward as that. There are actually several different ways to do it and several different ways it doesn't work. And or it can actually give you hand pain and make you overall less consistent at it or get you less CPS. Okay, and one last thing before you learn how to drag click. A lot of people in the Minecraft bridging community actually uses one of two ways to drag click on their mouse. Now there's some exceptions, but I'm talking about the majority. Okay, so the first way is by using the pointy finger for your left mouse button and your right mouse button. And the other way is by using your pointy finger for the left trigger and your middle finger for the right mouse button. Drag clicking with different fingers for different mouse buttons is actually harder to learn because you have to build up muscle memory for how much friction each finger has. But the result of knowing how to drag click with each finger separately is that you can set up your drag clicking mouse grip much faster, which might be useful in bed wars when you actually want to do a clutch with drag clicking, or when you want your setup time for God Bridge to be as low as possible. But learning it with using only the pointy finger for the left and right mouse buttons is much easier to learn. And now, for the long drag clicking, the best way to do it is to have an anchor point. And basically what that means is some point on your mouse along which your hand rotates when you drag click. This is really important because your mouse buttons are curved, so having a good anchor point makes your drag click really consistent. So to grip your mouse to have an anchor point, you need to be using your thumb and one of your pinky or ring finger. Also, a good strategy that I actually learned really recently is to use both of these fingers, but it's a little bit harder. But the benefits of using both of your fingers is that your hand doesn't get tired really fast. Also, one of the things I want to mention is that you need to be careful not to let your wrist overextend, or I don't really know what that's called, but because it is known to cause a lot of different hand problems like chronic pain in the wrist area and is in general not very healthy before your arm. I suggest drag clicking up to the point where your wrist is flat. You can make it easier to do this by raising your whole arm, but that will probably make it a little bit more tiresome to drag click. But you can also lay your finger a lot flatter, which could also help. Personally, the best advice I could give you is to have a mouse that's proportional to your hand size. So for example, if you have big hands, you should have a big sized mouse. If you have small hands, you should have a small sized mouse. And if you have medium sized hands, then your mouse should be large. Okay, I'm joking. Anyway, now let's get into short drag clicking. Now, short drag clicking is predominantly used for Godbridge, Moonwalk, and Breezely. But some people can use it to telebridge as well. But anyway, when short drag clicking, there's actually two main ways to do it. You can hold your mouse or drag click at a really steep angle so that your mouse doesn't move. Now, some people actually put tape on their mouse feet to make them glide worse. But personally, I don't really like that idea because it makes you worse at other sides of Minecraft, because in general, better feet glide lets you aim better, so it can actually damage your PvP skill. But anyways, let's get started with the first method. So the best way to learn how to short drag click with holding your mouse is to practice the circular short drag clicking motion, which basically looks like this. Now, this method of short drag clicking is actually, in my opinion, the most consistent way of doing it, because you're holding your mouse and you have much higher guarantee that you will not let the mouse move when holding it rather than hitting it from a steep angle to generate drag clicks. But basically, when you're holding your mouse, you have to try to hold it the way so that your palm is closer to the middle of the mouse rather than the back of it. This way, the circular motion is actually easier and it will make you more consistent at short drag clicking. But basically, drag clicking is a skill that requires some patience to learn, but overall is not that hard. And I really believe that you can learn how to tele, Godbridge, and long clutch with this clicking method, as long as you have the determination to do it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you probably next week. I don't know. Bye bye. Okay.